Hi guys, my name's Marissa and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I am also known as Homemaking with Marissa here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. In today's video, I will be sharing 5 different recipes that only require 2 ingredients. A lot of you found my channel because of a limited ingredient recipe that I shared showing how to make Easter dinner using only 10 ingredients. I wanted to share additional ideas of how to take that same thought process and apply it to snack food. I am a wife and mother to 3 children. My children range in age from 2 to 15 years old. My 2-year-old has a dairy allergy, so all of these snacks that I will be showing today are also going to be dairy-free. On my channel, you will find cooking motivation, cleaning motivation, meal preps, as well as hacks and parenting tips. If this is something that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the red subscribe button, as well as turning on bell notifications so that you don't miss when I upload. The first recipe that I will be sharing today is for peanut butter popsicles. This recipe requires really ripe bananas as well as peanut butter. The tools that you will need for this recipe are just a blender as well as either popsicle molds, or I have this tiny little silicone ice cube tray that I like to use. It is really easy when things have been frozen to just pop them right out using this. I ordered it off of Amazon. If I can find it, I will link it in the description box down below. You will start by peeling 3 ripe bananas, putting them into a blender. I'm using a Vitamix because it's a high-powered blender. I have not tried this in another blender, but I'm sure that it would be perfectly fine. Once you get your bananas in, you're just going to take a 1/2 cup of peanut butter and scoop that into your blender, as well as 1/4 cup of water. I have made this before using a nut milk, and that does add a little bit of extra flavor, but because I'm trying to make these recipes only 2 ingredients, today I am using water. This recipe does make quite a bit of batter. On this particular day, I'm doing a combination of using the ice cube tray as well as using traditional popsicle molds. I picked up this little popsicle mold container at IKEA. I then will take the ice cubes and stick them into the freezer for 2 hours before I'm going to insert our sticks. On this particular day, I didn't have traditional popsicle sticks, so I'm going to just be using toothpicks. You want to remove your batter before it's completely frozen to insert the sticks. You will pull it out after 2 hours, and you can see they've started to come together, but they're not completely solidified yet. They're still soft enough that you can still stick a toothpick into the top. And here are what your little ice cube popsicles will look like when they're done. I feed these to my kids when they are in the bathtub so that they don't make a huge mess, and they enjoy them as a nice treat at the end of the day. Our second recipe is for what I call crunchy chickpeas. For this recipe, you will need 1 can of garbanzo beans and any seasoning blend of choice. I am using this vegan chickenless seasoning salt that I pick up at Trader Joe's. Later on, I will show you different alternatives to season your chickpeas. The tools that I will be using for this recipe are just a foil-lined baking sheet as well as a strainer. That strainer also came from IKEA. You want to do a really good job of rinsing off your chickpeas and getting all of that brine off of them. You're then going to lay them out on a towel and make sure that they are really, really well dried off. Once your chickpeas are really well dried off, I cannot reiterate this enough. If there is moisture, these are not going to turn out correctly. I will transfer them to a foil-lined baking sheet and then just make sure that they are spread out in an even layer and they're not on top of each other. Sometimes the little husks will have come off when I'm drying them, so I'll just remove those from the sheet before I stick them in the oven and season them with in this particular video, I'm using the vegan chickenless seasoning, but you can use chili lime seasoning from Trader Joe's. You can use the everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's. I have used this onion salt that I also pick up at Trader Joe's before. You can use a ranch packet if you're not trying to make them dairy-free. The seasoning doesn't really matter. Anything that sounds good is going to be what the flavor ends up being of these little chickpea crisp. These baked at 350 degrees for about an hour. You just want to check them about every 15 minutes, move them around in the pan so that they don't stick to the bottom, and as soon as they are crispy, they are done. Muffins are a household favorite. My kids love eating little mini muffins, and I like making them from scratch just so that I know what the ingredients are. The very first recipe that I ever uploaded to YouTube was actually showing how to make mini banana chocolate chip muffins. These are just a little bit easier and have a lot fewer ingredients. So I am going to be using a can of pumpkin puree and a box of spice cake. This is the little mini muffin pan that I use. It's just silicone and makes it easier to pop the muffins out. And then I use a little ice cream scoop to get them evenly into the pan. Literally all you have to do is just combine your spice cake mix with the can of pumpkin puree, put this into a muffin pan, and bake it in a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes. If you guys have snack ideas that you make with limited ingredients for your children, please put them in the comments down below so that we can try those out as well. Here's what your muffins look like when they come out of the oven. These were really good. My kids thoroughly enjoyed these and have actually eaten the entire tray already. Oftentimes with muffins, I will make extra and then I will freeze the extra muffins to pull out at a later date. These particular muffins froze really well, and we will definitely be making them again. Popcorn is such a simple snack, but if you or any of your household members have a dairy allergy, you know that it's really hard to find any sort of pre-made popcorn that doesn't have any dairy in it. I always just make it from home using coconut oil and popcorn kernels. I got this little popcorn machine as a gift several years ago. My family actually doesn't have a microwave, so microwave popcorn isn't even an option for us. This recipe came from How Jen Does It on YouTube. She shared this a number of years ago, and I have found that if you make popcorn with coconut oil, you don't need to add any butter to it. It has plenty of flavor all on its own. I have been asked if this tastes like coconut, and it doesn't. It just has a plain regular popcorn flavor. This machine does a good job of just mixing up the oil. I just add the popcorn kernels and then it does all the work for me. A lot of times we will just eat this plain or season it with just salt. I can also add any of these same seasonings that I talked about with the chickpea crisps to popcorn as well if you'd like to give it some additional flavor. If you guys would like me to share additional either 2-ingredient snacks or dairy-free snack ideas, give this video a thumbs up so that I know that this is content that you're interested in me sharing. Our final recipe for today is 2-ingredient fudge. I am using peanut butter and dairy-free chocolate chips. These chocolate chips are less expensive than other dairy-free brands, and you can see that they are free of all the 8 major food allergies. So if I had a microwave, I would just melt the chocolate in the microwave, but like I mentioned earlier, I don't have one. So I'm just using this fry pan and a silicone spatula to melt our peanut butter and our chocolate together. And then to make our fudge pieces, I will put them into the same ice cube tray that I used for our popsicles earlier. To make this fudge, you just want to combine equal parts peanut butter to chocolate chips. I am doing a 1/4 cup of peanut butter and a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, just heating it on a really low temperature on my stovetop until everything comes together. You do want to make sure that you don't scorch the chocolate, so you want to put this on a very low heat and just keep working it with your spatula until everything is well combined and your chocolate has melted. If you're doing this in a microwave, I would just heat it up in 10-second intervals, stir it until you are satisfied with the consistency of your mixture. You want it to look like just plain melted chocolate when you're done. I am then going to transfer it into this ice cube tray. This was kind of a pain, and if I were making these again, I would freeze them in just a piece of parchment paper in a baking sheet and then cut them when they're done. Ordinarily, I would do that, but I didn't have very much of the chocolate chips left, so I was only able to make a small batch of this. You're then just going to stick your little fudge cups into the freezer and wait for them to solidify. Here are what your cups look like when they are done. These are just nice little chocolate coin treats for the kids to enjoy as a treat before they go to bed. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you are all staying happy and healthy. If you would like to watch additional videos that I have recorded, I have one on the left side of your screen you can go ahead and just click on. And if you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face on the right side of my screen.